We have a person here who's from one of the most critical pillars of our entire community. It is a building that has existed in San Francisco since 1878. And David, that's a little longer than you've been around San Francisco, right? So please help me welcome Jamie Wong from the San Francisco Public Library. Jamie, thank you so much for being with us.
Jennifer, it's so wonderful to join you today. Thank you for having me on.
Okay, everything shuts down except the library. The library stays open, not the doors, but you're still helping the public, probably now more than ever because so many people are stuck at home. Tell me a little bit about what the library has done to pivot to people checking out books and movies to really helping people stay connected during this pandemic.
Jennifer, that's such a great question. So I would say that there are two different sort of branches of efforts that we've made. The first one was to address what activity was already going on and making sure that people felt reassured and comforted that the library was responding to the shelter-in-place order. So first of all, we extended all loan periods for materials that were checked out until August 1st. And we really worked actively to message that out to our patron base, make sure that they weren't concerned about that piece. Secondly, of course, people put their materials on hold and they eagerly anticipate these. So we had a number of inquiries about whether or not their holds would dissipate or be sent back to wherever they came from. And we have reassured folks that those holds are waiting for them when we are able to access them again. The second branch is that we did move towards getting out news about our e-resources because we know how much people value ebooks and streaming movies at this time. So we were actively saying to folks, hey, guess what? If you haven't tried these resources before, make sure that you know that these are available at your library.
Well, what have been the most popular ebooks that have been flying off the shelves? Let's start with ebooks and then let's go to, you still are you getting physical library books into the hands of people still?
Not at this moment. We are really excited about the fact that our e-resource usage is way, way up. One of the most popular applications or programs that we have is called Kanopy, and that's streaming movies. We call it's Netflix, but it's for free. And absolutely, yes, it is. It really has a lot of spectacular quality programming. The most popular films over the closure period have been, the first one was actually Midsummer, which is a really kind of, I know, right? Which is, if you don't know it, it's, I would say, sort of like The Wicker Man. It's a little taste of horror. So I want to say it's a bit of escapist realist film. Also, The Last Black Man in San Francisco was really popular on Kanopy, Lady Bird, and The Farewell. So a lot of really great award-winning films that are available for free streaming.
So, Jamie, can a bunch of people, thousands of people stream these same movies at once, just like on Netflix? Or is it kind of like a library where only so many people can check something out during a certain amount of time?
That's a great question. So you do need to check them out, and so I would say that we offer a number of different resources, and each one of them has a little bit of a different way of accessing. So we have Kanopy, we have a service called Hoopla, and for ebooks we have Overdrive, and there's all sorts of ways that you can kind of check out a book or check it out virtually. Put a hold on it if a lot of folks have it checked out at the time. And then again, it's kind of like you're eagerly awaiting for your physical materials to come in. Jennifer, I realized that you asked about oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I was going to say, is that for movies or books or both?
For books, you do check them out
Right.
you can check them out and put them on hold. And but again, it depends on the platform. We do have one platform called Hoopla, and that actually has no waits, no holds. If you find a title available on Hoopla that you want, and they have books and movies, it's just you can access it right there and then. So we do have a one-stop shop, our online catalog. If you go in and you look up a title that you're looking for, your favorite movie or a book that you really want to read, basically it will tell you about the availability and whether you can get it right then and there.
The gist is you don't have to spend a fortune downloading things on Apple or any of the other audiobook sites. You can actually get them for free, especially during these times. That's such a big help to so many people. Do you need a library card?
Absolutely. So the great thing about the library is that one of the first things that we did was ask ourselves, can we issue library cards to people who want to take out our e-resources during this time, who did not have a library card prior to the shelter-in-place order? So during regular business operating hours, you could apply online, but you need to come into a physical location in order to activate your card. I see that the SFPL website is up right now. If you see that button that says sign up for fast access to digital resources, SF residents can click on that and apply for a temporary digital access card, and will be approved, and you can start to access for e-resources. And it's an amazing thing. Upwards of 4,000 people have applied for temporary digital access cards since we closed. So we know that the desire is out there, and we know that we're serving a population that hadn't really completely tapped into our resources prior to the closure.
I've seen on my own social media and just in talking with members of my own family that reading is back. We have more time. We don't have to spend time in traffic now that we used to. And we're all looking for that next great book, it seems like. So that seems like one of those little silver linings, having more time to read. In terms of there's the audiobook, so you're streaming that audio, you can listen to it anytime, day or night, but actually getting that book, even if it is an ebook, what has been the longest waiting list in terms of, is there one book that just everyone wants to read and they have to wait for? What's that one that has the longest waiting? And then what are the top five after that?
So that is a great question. The book that was really the all-time favorite hit of 2019 and is still one of the top most circulated titles in our system is unsurprisingly, Becoming, Michelle Obama's memoir, which you really just had, you just had to get on that waiting list last year, and it would come to you. But the suspense was building up. It's still on our top 10 list of titles that are being checked out. And other popular titles, I would say, are similarly high impact, really thoughtful pieces. Educated, the memoir by Tara Westover from a few years ago, is still actually trending for us. Yeah. I would also say that children's titles have really seen a huge spike as well over this period. I think that caregivers, families, parents are really just looking for media for their kids, and they just can't get enough. So we've seen a lot of usage around that.
One of my favorite things when my own daughter was a smaller child, she's 19 now, so I don't read to her as much as I used to. But one of our favorite things, especially when I was a single mom, was that my mom or dad, one of her grandparents, would call from Alaska. They live in Alaska. We live in Oakland. And they would read to her over the phone. Well, now a lot of kids are having their grandparents do that over video chat. Tell me a little bit more about the family programs and how you're really getting families involved in the world of the library, books, and reading together.
Jennifer, I am so glad you asked that question because earlier you had asked what were some new things that we were doing at the library during the shelter-in-place period to support our family communities. So one of the first things that we did was get underway a digital storytime series. It's called Sweet Stories at SFPL, and we kicked it off with a reading from Mayor London Breed, which was fantastic. So she is available if you want the mayor to come and do a story time at your very house, you can. And subsequently, we've also had our city librarian and many of our incredible, talented youth librarians read picture books. And what's fantastic is that they really emphasize early literacy skills. They they basically sing songs, they do finger plays, and they read the books. So I've just heard just real heartwarming feedback about these videos and how much families depend on them. They air every single day at 2 p.m. on our Instagram TV, and we also offer them on our YouTube channel. So they are also, you can kind of roll them out if you want to binge story time. You can do that.
I'm in 4 o'clock every afternoon. binging story time right before my nap, my cookie, my milk, and my nap. I love that.
It's fantastic. Yes.
Jamie, before we let you go, what one thing about this pandemic, this shelter in place, has really stuck with you, will stay with you, maybe a silver lining? What's been a surprise for you after all of this?
I would say that we prize the library as being a place that groups can come and they can congregate and they can meet and learn something new. And we have been pivoting so that we can offer this same kinds of meeting place and educational resource online. So we're looking forward to the summer where we are going to be offering our Summer Stride program. We'll be using a new a new tracking a device online called Beanstack, so folks can participate in that. And we're also looking into doing digital programming. We're using Zoom to provide career and job resources like how to use LinkedIn, language learning resources. So that should all be available online. So even though people right now can't come into our physical locations, we're saying, hey, no, you're at home. You can still come to our library virtually, and we welcome you in. We miss you, and we want you to, we want you to feel supported by us at this time.
The library might not be open, but it's still wide open. Thank you so much. Jamie Wong, San Francisco Public Library. I think that my co-host David and I should volunteer to read books. I don't know if anyone wants us in their house reading a book, but why not, right? And it's in your house virtually. By the way, let's not get any wrong ideas there. David, would you just help me out here?